The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Video Games to the Max. This is episode 177, and we are the official video games podcast of W2Net.com, and we are also in partnership with WarMania.com and Last Word on Life. I am your host, Sean Garmer, and here with me as always, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Well, it's been an interesting 2 weeks for both of us here. Mainly in things that we have played, and also because you are now, you've had a birthday, so happy birthday.
Yep.
And you are now an owner of a Switch.
Yep. I got the good red and blue one.
So I know you only have Mario for it, but how does it, do you like your Switch?
I wasn't aware of how goddamn thing how small it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have a little Android tablet from 10 years ago, and it is the same size as that.
Yeah, and certain pants that I can have it fit in my entire pocket.
Oh yeah. Aside from the controllers, obviously, which would make it stick out, but yeah, the thing is huge, so small that I can't imagine playing that thing as a handheld.
So you haven't tried using it as a handheld, getting in your bed and...
I tried when I first got it. I got the system on Wednesday, I think, and I had no games. I ordered Mario on Thursday, and I got it yesterday. But I got it today actually. But so I tried downloading a few demos. I think I downloaded Puyo Puyo Tetris demo, which was fine, and I downloaded Pinball FX3, and that ran like garbage on handheld mode.
Yeah, that's gonna happen, sadly.
So once I put it in the dock and tried it, then it was fine. But I was if this is the way it's going to play in handheld mode, I don't think I want to play this thing too much in that mode then.
I didn't notice that with Mario.
Well, I assume that Nintendo made games are going to run better.
Right.
Because they're more they're built for the specs, they're designed for it. Pinball FX, just kind of a cheap port job probably. So
yeah, that was one of the early port jobs too.
No, because that came out just a few months ago. But it's Pinball FX, so it's always going to run kind of jankily. But yeah, Mario's great. It's a lot of fun.
Did you get the Pro Controller?
No, I got nothing with it. I got the system alone, and that was it. Also,
Go ahead.
Those controllers are super tiny. They're uncomfortable, to use. One-on-one, I would say, or how you can have two people play this thing at one time. It's yeah, but both controllers are uncomfortable, so I don't want to do that.
So you use the grip most of the time?
Actually, yeah, that thing's actually pretty comfortable, I think.
Yeah, I would say that the Pro Controller is worth it. It is very, very comfortable. It's probably my favorite controller, I think, out of all of them. Obviously the PS4, that Sony controller is iconic, and we all know how to use it. But if it wasn't for the stupid Nintendo having to switch the B and A,
Yeah,
it would be perfect. Yeah.
I've run into numerous problems where like Mario's like hit A to confirm and I hit B and I go back in menu. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, like why couldn't you have just made this like every other controller, Nintendo? Come on, dang it. But yeah, I mean,
Oh,
there's
I also got that Mario cereal, so I used that in Mario Odyssey.
does the cereal taste good?
I don't know, I haven't opened it yet.
Well, aside from getting a Switch, you have been playing a lot of games. In fact, in the time frame since we've done the last podcast, both of us have posted a review. So I don't think none of you guys need to hear me talk about Super Meat Boy. Everybody's played Super Meat Boy at this point, except for me when I was actually playing it. It's good on Switch, and the two-player mode works. That's all you need to know. But you've been playing some Dragon Ball FighterZ, and that
Yep.
review is up on w2net.com, so you can go read it. But yeah, I mean, what do you think of the game? That story mode really surprised me, just the way that they decided to do that.
I think the fighting engine is superb. Like the best Arc System Works has done probably like ever, because you can easily combo and like everything looks flashy, plays well. Like is very fast, looks great, like better than the anime. You know, but the story mode is just kind of weird because it's like a board game where you have to like move your token around like the board to like fight to get to the boss. But as you fight, like your fighters lose health. They gain experience, but they also lose health. So you have to swap them out with like less powerful fighters. And like by the time I was done with the first story arc, like I beat the boss who was level 35, and my max character was like level 18. And like I didn't know if I was just supposed to keep grinding, but you can't really because there's a time limit on the board game of like 20 turns, and every time you move your piece, it's a turn, so you can't really afford to screw around that much.
Yeah, that seems annoying.
Like you can just like go back, like there's like just a map select screen, and you can kind of grind it out there, but that I don't want to do that either. And like this basic story is there's another Android 21. I haven't beat the game actually, so I don't know like the conclusion, but the gist of it is that like she has a cloning machine, has cloned all like the Dragon Ball characters, and like is now fighting against them, and she's also trying to eat the regular like the core characters to get more power, like Majin Buu, like basically.
She sounds awesome.
Yeah, like her voice actress is pretty good. Like she's very kind of over the top and like I would say petulant or like child, like very like kind of like a yelling child almost. Like there's like once I beat her in the Goku like the story mode, like the first arc, like she calls my character bastard. That was pretty funny.
And she's like what? Like not even. I saw that there was like a quote that apparently she's like not even 10 or something like that.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, she looks. I don't know. Like, you mean her age or?
Yeah, like her age.
Like
I saw a quote in a picture of her.
If that's the case, that's kind of weird because like her character is fairly adult looking, especially like when she walks. I'm like, this is almost like a DOA game. Like, calm down, Toriyama.
Well, it's an Android. You got to make it look.
Yeah, but Android 18 didn't look like that at all.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it's actually good that it's like another female character for Dragon Ball because they have one who's good.
Right.
And she's only created for this game, but I know Dragon Ball Super, the current show, is ending soon, like going on hiatus. They say it would be nice if like when it comes back, they bring her in because I think she is like a strong enough character to like have a story built around her. Just not endless amounts of clone fighting like it did in the goddamn story mode.
Yeah, I read you discussing that a lot. Like, it's just I don't understand that object of having clones appear constantly. It makes it feel like they just did that to like fill out the story mode instead of just, you
Oh
know.
yeah, like it's just padding. Like I think about like a Mortal Kombat story mode. Like those story modes are like 4 hours long, maybe.
Hmm.
But you go through every character. Like every character basically has like 4 fights, and it's like okay, Liu Kang starts off, he has 4 fights. Then you switch to Raiden, then Sonya Blade. You know that. In this game, you build up a team of like 3 characters, and you just fight like endless amounts of like Krillin clones or Goku clones, and none of it matters.
Yeah, that makes
Like
me.
there's some good story beats in the story. Like there's some good interactions between certain characters. Like if you put 2 characters like on a team together, they may have like a good interaction, and there's some good like actual plot story beats here and there. But yeah, just having to like start on a map and it's filled with like 7 nodes of clone fighters, and you have to get to the path like of least resistance to the boss to get to the next map. It's like, oh man. And also the enemy clone like teams respawn. Like if you clear the map out, they just keep like pop back up, and it's like, okay, this makes me extra not want to do this.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
to its credit, compared to other Arc System Works games, this game's story mode has fighting in it. It's like too much of it, but it has fighting, so it isn't some 2 hour long anime like Guilty Gear Zerd is. That's incomprehensible.
it's probably because they already have an anime, so they didn't feel the need to do that. Whereas Guilty Gear, its third, doesn't, have the cachet that Dragon Ball does in that realm. So,
Yeah, but
uh,
that makes it extra crazy because it's like no one knows what the fuck is happening in Zerd when they have this 2 hour movie. It's like I would rather that have like just fighting, like characters fighting for no reason.
right.
Like one of the glossary terms for Zerd was that man, and it's like, okay, what the fuck does this have to do with anything in this game? But
Uh,
like aside from the story mode, which is like I think like it's tedious, but it does train you very well in the fighting game, like in like the game engine. But like the fighting is just fun, I think overall.
well, that's good because, that encourage. Have you played online a lot, or?
I have it here and there. Something weird with my internet. Like I don't know if it's PSN or what, but like I frequently get disconnected from PSN and WoW, and I'm not sure what is going on. If it's like my roommate or if it's just Comcast sucking or what. Like I have great speed, but it's just not consistent. It doesn't seem like.
Well, PSN did go down for a while,
Well, it's
so
not that. Like it's not
yeah,
that. Like I've had other problems before. Like I can barely stay connected to a party chat with PSN.
yeah, because you had that one problem where you went out like once or twice with
Yeah,
us,
like I
and
tried. I played Neo with a friend of mine like last week, and like we did one mission. We did it 4 times. One time we failed, but the other 3 times I just get disconnected.
damn. Have you called Comcast?
Not yet. I will soon.
So you've also been playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I've not
Uh,
played a ton of that at all. So my like observations are just very superficial, but it seems fine. Like it seems complicated. Like probably more approachable than past Monster Hunter games, but it's still like not the easiest game to get into.
yeah, I only played the beta a couple of times with you, the last one that they had,
Yeah,
and it was fun. It's just, yeah, if you were doing more than just going on the straight hunt, I could see where it gets complicated really easily. Uh,
I think that beta was pretty. Now that I've played the real game, that beta was bad. because it stuck you with a very crappy weapon, like that stupid transforming axe sword thing, which was terrible.
Oh God, I hated that thing.
Like now that I had the real game, like there's like it basically starts you off with like 14 weapons, and it's like pick one if you want, but you can switch at any like you can go back to your house and switch at any time you want, and use that if you want.
Yeah, I was thinking there would be different weapons, but so there's ones that don't transform. I'm assuming.
Yeah, like I'm using two short blades, but there's like a katana, like a buster sword, lance, stuff like that. Like the weirdest, or even just like straight out guns you can use. Probably the weirdest one is a metal bagpipe, which is like a support weapon. That's been in past Monster Hunter games though, but it's just still weird.
Metal bagpipe. All right.
But yeah, I did my first hunt. I just had to kill a bunch of lizards, and that was fine.
So you can see yourself enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm just at the moment I'm just overwhelmed.
Yeah. Anything? Well, we both played the Metal Gear Survive beta.
Yeah.
That was interesting because I know you played it before. I played it with you. We also played it with Sean Comer, who was doing the stream, and it was funny just because I remember asking you like, "Well, do you have any interest in this?" You're like, "Hell no," and then we get done playing. You're like, "You know what? I actually like this."
Well, the thing with that demo beta was like it didn't explain shit at all. It was just like here's a mode, or here's this thing you have to protect. That's it. And it's like, okay. It was tower defense, but there was a ring around the drill thing we had to protect. And if you had defenses in that ring after the wave ended, they would get destroyed, which the game doesn't tell you.
No.
And then also stuff carries over, which I found really annoying because I played that beta with a friend of mine before I played it with you, and I wasted all my cool stuff. So when I tried that beta with you and the other Sean, I had nothing. I just had the knowledge of what the hell to do.
Yeah, I think it was once we played the second mission is when I finally figured out stuff because the first mission I was just like, well, hopefully Mark will just carry us through this thing because I have no idea what's going on.
Well, once they got that little walker tank thing, that thing was awesome.
Yes, that walker tank thing was fun, just getting to use that, whatever. But I'm interested in the single player just to see. It's apparently pretty meaty, 10 to 15 hours for a game like that. So
yeah, it's basically it's Metal Gear Solid 5's game engine, but survival focused. You build stuff, you have to create blueprints, and we'll create stuff from blueprints and fortify your base and stuff like that.
Well, hopefully the main game, delivers something.
The other thing I've been playing is the Iconoclasts. That's okay. It's a Metroidvania, and I tend to really like those, but this one there's no real upgrades. You just get weapon upgrades. They have these things called tweaks, which is kind of a support thing. You can slot in different skills, but they don't really do much. I kind of don't like the story, and that's about it.
So what is it about?
You play a mechanic, but in the world where mechanics are outlawed by this religious organization, and that's about I haven't gotten too far into it, but your dad is a mechanic, and he may or may not be alive, and you're I guess on the run from this religious church, just trying to stop you. It's just I read a rock paper shotgun review and or not a review, but just like a column about it. And the column was basically like, the longer I played this game, the less I liked it. And I read it, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
That's interesting because like everything that I see about it is somebody praising the game or whatever on Twitter. So
Like, I don't think it's bad. But it just like I don't think the actual like platforming is that good.
that's a problem for that game.
Yeah.
Don't you do that a lot?
What else? And Subnautica. I tried that again since it finally came out.
How is it now and out of early access or
It's the same.
same? Okay.
Or like, I think I played it like maybe a year ago, and it's pretty much the same game.
Well, that's
Like
interesting. Normally they make a lot of changes. So.
I like the idea of the game. You know, it's just fun to just kind of explore like an underwater world. I wish it was just a tad clearer about like the tech tree or like what you need to get to like, you know, progress further and further up it. But you can say that about every damn survival game pretty much.
Yeah, true.
Like, I don't think like very few of them are really about that. Or, you know, like the whole like, you need this material to get to this tool. This is how you get this material. It's a lot of fumbling around, which I always find just kind of aggravating. Because like, I don't want to have a Wikipedia entry open or a wiki guide to like get to figure out all this shit. You kind of just point me in the right direction.
I feel like more and more games now you're having to do that.
Oh yeah, I got a feeling like Metal Gear Survive comes out, it's going to be all that.
Speaking of Metal Gear Survive, there's going to be very strict online requirements for that game. Basically, you got to be online all the time, even in single player. If you lose your connection, you are dropped from the game. And it's also going to have microtransactions.
Well, microtransactions was kind of was a gimme. Like the MGS5 had that, and yep, that ruined the multiplayer in that too. So we'll see what happens. But I think the online thing is kind of weird. Like, I know why they're doing it, but like, it's going to tick off a lot of people, I think.
Especially for single player. Like,
yeah, it'll just lead to the game getting like hacked like almost immediately.
yeah, probably. I mean, I don't think about it because my system's online all the time anyway. But,
Oh yeah,
you know, there are people that only get online to download the patch or the update or the whatever, and then they go back offline. And yeah, you can't do that with that game. So, you know,
yeah,
cutting their audience a bit. I mean, I don't know how many of those people really are out there, but it's still, I think, a significant chunk at this point.
yeah.
As for me, we talked about the stuff that we played together, but I've been playing the other game that I have for review right now. I actually have another Switch game, but I'm trying to finish Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory first because Hacker's Memory is like a 40 to 50 hour game, and I'm about halfway, I hope. I thought that in the first game, and then okay, so I ran into the same thing that happened with Xenoblade 2, where because this game is basically like happening at the same time as Cyber Sleuth, and you're just playing a different set of characters, you can basically play these games concurrent with each other. And so because I'm streaming Hacker's Memory most of the time, I have to wait. I have to wait for it to make the video, and then I have to wait like an hour for YouTube to upload the thing. So
Yeah.
in that time, I'm sitting here playing the original Cyber Sleuth. There's a lot of reused assets. It's almost Bandai Namco made no bones about the fact that you were basically playing a game that was going to have a lot of reused everything. And that's a lot of what this game is, except the different characters. There's now 320 Digimon, and there are battles called Hacker Battles, which are basically like a strategy game where you try to take over a certain amount of pods that equal points, and then you can battle if you're trying to take over a pod that is already controlled by the enemy. And then once you kill their Digimon, they're wiped out, and you take over their pod. But yeah, it's amazing doing something like that and noticing how much the same it is. But then also realizing that I thought the first game was 10 chapters, and here I am in like I was at chapter 6 when I got Hacker's Memory. I'm now in like chapter 12 of the original game, and it's still going, and I'm like, what the heck? I thought this thing only had 10 chapters. This thing is still going, so I imagine that Hacker's Memory is the same thing, and I'm in like chapter 5 of that game. So hopefully this week, since I'm hoping to hear back from one of the job interviews I had, which they're saying sometime later in the week. I still have this week where I'm not working, so I would have that one done. But I think overall it's a good RPG. It gets really samey after a while, especially because until you fight certain bosses, if you know how to build your Digimon up, the game never gets hard, and it gets tedious after a while of fighting the same monsters, and then, oh, this is not going to hurt me at all, so I can just press A or press X and do something else on my computer while I'm pressing X. So
Are the monsters all clones?
the monsters are not clones. They're all Digimon, but you do fight a lot of the same ones. So I guess you could say those are clones.
Yeah, it's funny. I was gonna give you. I had a code for Tokyo Xanadu EX, and I thought about giving that to you, and I was like, nah.
No. Wait, that's the same game that came out on PC like last year, right? But now it's on console.
Probably.
Okay, yeah, because I tried to play that on PC, and it was so old school that I was like, yeah, this is not happening for me. Did Adam just send you that or something?
Yeah. He sent me like 9 games, like I think like 4 days ago, or for like my birthday, like just extra codes he had lying around.
Oh,
so
wow.
I have a code. I have a code for that, which I'm never going to use, and I had a code for what's the other one? Acel World vs Sword Art Online Deluxe Edition.
Oh, Excel. Oh, that thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm kind of interested
awesome.
in the one that's like a sort of a shooter or whatever from that series, but not that one. That's kind of like that Hyperdimension whatever Sega Girls thing that they came out with. It's like, why? So he just sent you a bunch of codes. Like, okay, well, here, happy birthday.
Well, yeah, he also sent me codes for Mr. Shifty, which I actually did use. I haven't played it yet.
Mr. Shifty's awesome.
I know you liked it. But he sent me codes for Franchise Hockey Manager 4. It's like, oh man, my dreams have come true.
I could so see you just like, what the hell am I doing? That's great. But, all right, moving on. The Microsoft has announced their games for gold for February. February 1st to the 28th is Shadow Warrior, and Assassin's Creed Chronicles India is the 16th to March 15th. That's that 3-game series where they made that 2.5D Assassin's Creed, which they're fine.
Not great.
Yeah,
like they're passable, but
right,
they're
exactly.
not like what you want.
No. What you would want if you have the 360 and you can play on your Xbox One split second is a really, really good arcade racing game. Everybody should check that out if you have not. It's an older game. It's like from 2010, 9-ish. And the port of Crazy Taxi, which
is
is
awful.
also awful. Yeah, just and the soundtrack's messed up on it and everything
Yeah,
else. So
that's why it's awful.
yeah,
No offspring, no dice. I say that about every form of entertainment I come across.
sadly, you have
Like,
betrayed us there. Go ahead.
like you wouldn't think. I mean, no offense to Offspring, they're not that big of a band anymore. Like, you
Right
don't think it
now.
would take that much to relicense that. Like, that soundtrack only had 6 songs, I think. 4 were from Offspring and 2 were from Bad Religion. Like, I love Bad Religion. They're not like the top of the. They're not like the top of the leader charts either. Like, it wouldn't be that much to relicense those songs. You wouldn't think, but
Those were some of their bigger songs from the '90s, though. So
yeah, but that was from the '90s. Now we're in the 2010s. No one gives a shit
they
about the
still
Offspring
make
anymore.
albums.
Yeah, but they
So
don't still sell many albums.
no, I agree with you, but I don't know. I think that stuff is done by the record companies, and I have to. I don't deal with this personally, but I have to hear about it with Rock Band about sometimes how it takes them forever to get this one song because sometimes they base it on the fact that okay, well this song is really popular, so this is going to cost you more than say, if you got a Offspring deep cut or whatever. So I don't know if it was Sega not wanting to do it or Microsoft said, look, we're not paying this or whatever.
No, well, two things. The last Offspring album was 2012.
Mm,
But I would think it's Sega because I mean they ported Crazy Taxi to a bunch of different shit like a few years ago, and they didn't license the soundtrack for anything. It's like
yeah.
you cheap bastards! Like this is why this game is good.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to
Go
wonder. It's Sega.
go go relicense the Offspring. Go relicense Pizza Hut and KFC and put it in this game again.
Nah, when they're still making games like Sonic Forces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they gotta wait. They gotta waste money in other creative ways.
Speaking of creative, Anthem. Well, not it's. We pretty much said it, but and I think everybody that's anybody has been saying Anthem is not coming out this year, and now you officially get word that it's not. Anthem delayed until 2019, and many of the people working on it told Kotaku they feel a lot of pressure now because of the problems with Star Wars Battlefront 2 and the stuff with Destiny 2 going on right now. Of oh my god, it's up to us now to make a game that has a world that's continuously going and make it good. And,
I think that's a fool's errand for BioWare's part. Like all of their eggs are on Anthem. Like if this game fails, like BioWare's done. Like, that's sad to say, but it's going to be true. But maybe don't put all your eggs on one game. Maybe not have games as a service. Like
it's EA.
BioWare's best games are single player focused, story based games. Like there's no online games as a service crap in KOTOR. None of that in Dragon Age. None of that in like Mass Effect 2. I mean, yeah, it's EA, and that's why they're going to run BioWare into the ground.
I mean, that's what they do to studios, but
I also did, like I watched the Anthem trailer again, and I was just like, this game looks boring.
yeah, that was that whole feeling I had during the EA thing. I was like, can this just end? But it's also not my type of game, so
I mean,
there's
it's
that.
somewhat mine, but I didn't like Destiny. Like, it wasn't the shooting I didn't like in Destiny. It was like the world. Like, I didn't give a shit about like the the story premise of Destiny.
Well, to be fair, Destiny's story was awful, just
Well, I'm not even talking about
crappily
like
told.
the lack of story. I just mean like I don't care about any of these characters, and like I think the reason. I mean, I'm the only one that really glommed onto it. It seemed like, but the reason I used to like the Division was it was an interesting world they presented. Like, I don't think Anthem's going to have that.
Yeah, and I think that's why you're seeing some of these like there's only so many MMOs that are still around because you have to be able to keep that up. And I think Final Fantasy 14 has been doing a great job with that. WoW's doing their thing, and you're trying to do this on console, and it's difficult because you can't. You've also got the people that are expecting an MMO without paying the subscription,
Yeah.
and you're not going to get that.
Well, Final Fantasy 14 is I would say a fairly unique game, and even like Elder Scrolls Online, I think that still has a subscription also. But those games have a story, like a franchise cash beneath, like supporting them, like
Right.
a Final Fantasy or it's Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, like announcing a new one of those. It's like, oh, well, it's made by the guys who did like a good game before. It's like, yeah, but who knows about this one? And even like look at Final Fantasy 14 when that first launched, like that was a disaster. Like they fired
Oh,
like the entire team.
that was so bad. And then the and with Destiny, it's like, well, the shooting's great because Bungie is great at shooters, but then the way that they just some of the mechanics in the game and the things they keep doing to piss off the fans. The EA has awful, you know, customer service right now with people. You mention EA, you're going to get awful stares. It's so, talking about a game that is requiring you to constantly be around and being used as a service and all that.
I mean,
I think it's best if it does kind of go away for a while.
I mean, the real problem with EA is they are. I mean, some of their games have bombed over the years, like Mirror's Edge Catalyst when that came out like a few years ago. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, we want a new Mirror's Edge." It's like you got one. It's like no one bought it. But that company is so safe right now and like so risk averse that it's like crippling them along with other like loot box crap. Like they have one game coming out for like 2018 that's not a sports game, and that was supposed to be Anthem, and that's like likely canceled or likely postponed till next year.
Well, they have Faye and or
That's
Fee
not.
and A Way Out also.
Yeah, but
So.
neither of those games are what EA like wants from like a AAA game.
Oh no, I agreed, but you could argue that those are not. Those are sort of out of their wheelhouse, I guess.
And
But
I don't know much about that Fee game. I think I remember parts of it, but that No Way Out game is done by essentially that one dude. Like, if I mean, if it doesn't do well, that's fine. He can find work elsewhere. If it does well, he may stick around with EA, but he could go somewhere else and make another game, and he'd be happy probably.
yeah, true.
Like
But
make a brothers sequel called Sisters.
yeah, I mean that would probably play really well right now with all the stuff going on. So perhaps he's thinking about that at the moment. But I I was just pointing out that they do have some games, but like you said, it's not. It's stuff that we as I guess you could call in the games industry somewhat that are playing games a lot, that are constantly looking at what's coming out to see what we can get for the site and stuff like that. We're paying attention to that stuff. Not everybody is going around going, "Oh man, this A Way Out game looks amazing. Let me go play that." I still don't think, even though it's being pushed as sort of a AAA game, I still don't think that that's on the radar of a lot of people, and
Oh, oh,
especially not Fee.
oh
So
God, no! Like that was kind of my point. Also, like I don't think the mainstream public, like unless either of those games does like ridiculous like review score wise, I don't think like most people are going to care.
yeah, no, they're probably not, and that's the thing. I mean, and I could see A Way Out if like it really hits with people playing co-op or something like that, maybe. but I think that's still going to be your rare kind of person doing that. And
they'll need like a Shawshank Redemption DLC add-on.
Maybe. I feel like EA has the money to do it.
Get Morgan Freeman in the voice acting booth for 8 hours.
That would sell your game right there. But Morgan Freeman, get to say Morgan Freeman did something for my game, you'll get people buying it at that point. But this is gonna be an interesting year for EA,
yeah,
to say the least. After what happened in 2017,
EA will never really go away, but they're dangerously on the cusp now of just being a sports game company.
That is very true.
And
if it wasn't for Madden and FIFA.
Well, I know you like their sports games, at least, more than I would, obviously. But, like, the differences between, like, year after year are so inconsequential. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's like, well, it's not like football has, changes the game every year, so how can Madden do the same? It's like, it can't.
No, it really can't. And they have started to talk about perhaps going the way of making it games of service, as, okay, here's one game, and we're just going to update it. And maybe at some point they do it.
Unless EA tanks so hard, they'll never do that.
I don't know. It's been brought up to them, and they say that they've thought about it, but I don't think that they would unless...
I'm sure they thought about it, but then the next thought is, wait a minute, we can still sell millions of copies of the new Madden to rubes for, hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's just keep doing that.
Exactly. Because you buy it, and then you get all the free updates anyway. And then you can, justify spending gazillions of dollars on Ultimate Team and everything else. And, EA doesn't need anybody else when they're making all that money off all the Ultimate Team stuff and whatever. I think at some points they probably feel like people should be blessed that we make other games. Like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as long as Battlefield still does decently, I guess you can include that in there too. But you're not joking when you're saying it's the amount of games that they're making keeps getting smaller and smaller every year.
I mean, you see that with, like, Activision too, honestly. Like, somewhat even Ubisoft, but Ubisoft has always been more out there than either of those other two companies.
And nobody else is making Steep right now. So, like you said, I think Activision is just, they are okay with Call of Duty, Destiny. I guess they had technically... They got something off Crash.
They have Overwatch. That's all they need.
Yeah, Overwatch, WoW. If they do a remake of some other game that they own, there's still people clamoring for a Spyro remaster. Between the two companies that they have these huge franchises. What else do they need to make?
Yeah.
But moving on from that, this could perhaps be the year of Facebook getting into gaming, because now Facebook has launched their own competitor to Twitch, and it's live right now. It's a pilot program. It's only live. You don't have any kind of VOD at the moment, but you can live stream through Facebook Live, 1080p, 60 FPS, and yeah, you basically use it with OBS or like you would any of the other things.
I mean, Microsoft can't even get Beam to catch on. Like, why does Facebook think this is going to work?
Yeah, the only time you ever hear about Mixer is when you're watching a Microsoft press conference.
And they're giving you shit to watch. Like
Right,
they're giving
yeah.
you prizes. It's like, oh, here's some crappy cosmetic items for Halo 5 or whatever. It's like, all right, thanks.
I feel like if they had said we're starting our own competitor to YouTube, this might be a different deal. But Twitch doesn't need a competitor. Like,
Yeah.
Twitch is Twitch. I mean,
Twitch's competitor is also YouTube, so...
Right, but I think at this point, like, a lot of people are starting to go over to Twitch. You're having way less people saying, okay, I'm only staying on YouTube to do anything. The only reason you still have a YouTube is because Twitch has the VOD thing where they, at some point, your videos get, taken down. So,
well, YouTube's also ticked off a lot of people with their, like, lowering of, like, payments and stuff like that, so...
don't get me started with their BS. Hey, if we don't get 800 subscribers in like less than a month, we're gonna lose not only the monetization but out of the partner program too. That's not happening, but hey, YouTube with their choices.
Just pay like $10 for 10,000 Russian bots, and we'll be all set.
I don't understand that point. Like, why wouldn't you just offer a pay option where people could just pay and they stay part of the partner program?
Yeah.
Like, it's whatever. I get it that they need their advertisers or all that, but who knows? I know a lot of people like to use Facebook Live for things, and that's great.
A few people I'm Facebook friends with use it, and it's fine, but most of the time it looks janky as hell. I don't know if it's their phone or if it's just the service in general, but it always looks most of the time it's kind of weird.
That's all based on your connection in your phone.
Yeah.
So, it just depends on them, I think, more than the service, but it's a live video thing. Shit happens at that point. So I think this is a nice idea. I don't know that it's going to catch on, per se, but...
I'll go with no.
Yeah.
Because there's no option when I hit share on PS4 to go stream to Facebook.
Right, until Facebook gets integrated with a lot of things, other than just the OBSs and all that stuff, then maybe that's an option. But until then, I think it's going to be one of those like, oh, it's nice, but I'm not changing what I do.
Yeah.
Speaking of WoW, Blizzard says they're overhauling the classes for this expansion. They want to diversify them. They don't feel unique enough. Do you think that that's something I need to do?
You could, somewhat, but also that the reason they don't feel unique is because Blizzard crushed out the talent system like 2 expansions ago. So there are no more talents anymore. So of course they don't feel unique.
So they say like the area of effect stuff is being overused, so they're going to change that.
Great. I'm amazed. That's all I have going for me.
While the thing that you just said, the talent system is going to stay the same. So
Yeah, like when WoW launched, it basically you had talent trees. Like you had 30 talents. It's like, okay, every level you get a point, put a point in a talent. There are like 3 or 5 levels per talent. It's like, go down the tree. Like, they overhauled that, I think, in like maybe 2 or 3 expansions ago, and they got rid of all the talent trees, and they just have like, you pick like basically a specialization, and then there are like 18 talents, and you just pick 1 out of 3 for every like 10 levels or something. It's like, well, this isn't that fun.
No. And did they say why they took it out?
They said at the time just for like simplification or to get like new players into it. It's like it wasn't that complicated in the first place.
It's like, yeah, you just made the game much more generic feeling instead of
Yeah.
giving it. Yeah, so now you're trying to undo what you did. Okay, Blizzard, good job on. But I mean, isn't a lot of what that is though is basically them deciding, okay, we're gonna either add on to what we already did, or we're going to bring back old stuff that you guys liked that we took out.
Oh yeah, but that's always kind of the problem. Like the expansion, like this expansion, Legion has all been about like the artifact weapons, like the whole, powering them up and stuff.
Mm.
But at the end of the expansion, they're going away. It's like, well, great. I spent, the past year or whatever, putting my time into this thing that's doesn't mean a damn thing in this new expansion. Perfect.
Great job. Way to make me feel like I spent my time wisely there.
And if any, I like the artifact weapons because I hated it. Was just, another thing you had to like grind for like, oh, I need to do this raid 10,000 times to get the staff I want.
So now you don't have to do that necessarily.
No.
Well, does that mean it's going to go back to the whole?
Yeah, I think you're supposed to get. I think you get like. I think they've talked about you get like a new artifact necklace, which is kind of the same thing. But it's like, I'm good.
So, how do you feel about Microsoft making the big announcement that beginning with Sea of Thieves, they will now put all of their Microsoft published games on Xbox Game Pass on day one?
I have two thoughts. First is this would be a good idea if Microsoft actually made more than 2 games a year. The second thing is why would I ever buy a Microsoft game ever again?
I think their point is that they feel like they can get enough $10 subscriptions from people that are going to be wanting to play Sea of Thieves or Forza Horizon. I guess what they're at 4 now.
Well, the 4 is coming out this year probably.
Yeah, so Forza Horizon 4, Sea of Thieves. I still don't, State of Decay 2. I still don't think Crackdown 3 is coming out this year.
I think it kind of has to.
And it's Broken Splendor probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 4, maybe 5 games if they throw out something else.
Yeah. But how many of those are you interested in?
Forza Horizon 4, yeah. I would play Sea of Thieves if I had somebody people to play it with, but not something I want to go play with a bunch of randoms or.
Yeah.
But I think overall it's not a bad thing necessarily. It's something that they can do because they're trying desperately to get anybody to buy their games and their stuff right now because Sony and Nintendo are just outdoing them like crazy. So
let me ask you this question, and I think I know what your answer is going to be, but I'll still ask it. Compare this to when WWE made their network switch, like for pay-per-views and like overall production values. Which was better, like WrestleMania 17 or last year's WrestleMania? Not in terms of like booking or anything like that, just how it looked, how it was presented, what if it was a big deal or not.
WrestleMania 17, yeah.
Like,
nothing feels like a big deal anymore with the network because they all feel kind of the same.
That's kind of my point. I have a sneaking suspicion that this might lead to a lowering of like Microsoft, like production values, because if no one's buying the game, like even if they did make, signed up a lot of people for this Game Pass thing, that's still not as much as people going out and buying the damn game.
Yeah, you'd have to get 6 people for one game. 6 people to buy the Game Pass. And they can just unsubscribe after a month, so you don't. They could except for Sea of Thieves, the rest of these games they could beat them, and then they
Yeah,
just unsubscribe.
and that's what I would do, honestly. Like, just like, yeah, whatever. I beat it, or I got as much as I'm going to get out of it later.
I mean, for for websites and media people, this is great because you don't even have to worry about trying to get Microsoft to give you a review copy. You can just get Game Pass. All right, I'm doing the game, and then okay, I'm done, and I paid $10.
Yeah,
You know, but I think I think this is a nice oh here a different option, but
I mean, it's very consumer friendly,
right.
but that should worry you about Microsoft's game portfolio to a certain degree.
Well, I think it should for anybody, just because I know they weren't ever banking on the Xbox One X like really doing gangbusters or whatever.
I think they were, or I think they were thinking like this is the next generation, and it's like not if it's still named the same goddamn thing as the last one, you idiots. Look at the Wii and Wii U.
I just don't know how they could think that when this was being talked about, you didn't know who the heck this was for.
I I think the difference between PS4 and PS4 Pro, like that is it's a upgrade, but a very slight one. But I think like when Sony announces eventually the PlayStation 5, people are going to take notice. I think Microsoft is banking on people going like, "Oh, it's the new Xbox." They were out there saying like it's the most powerful console ever, like all this other crap. They were expecting people to like jump in line for it, and some people did, but they still don't have the games out for it. Really,
They had nothing out there with Forza 7 and like
Cuphead, and that was about it.
yeah, but I mean, I'm not bagging on Cuphead at all. It's a great game. I'm saying that I'm not buying a whole Xbox One X to play Cuphead.
Yeah,
So, the thing is that I mean, granted, they offered all your old Xbox One, your original Xbox games, your 360 games, and then all these Xbox One games were going to get the 4K thing for free. They offered a lot if you have a big library of Xbox One games, but I still feel like you needed almost like another launch of games coming out for it, and you didn't. You had almost nothing.
yeah. They needed, like I think I said before, they needed at least like 8 new Xbox One games, like a new Perfect Dark, or that was supposed to be Crackdown 3, but that blew it by a mile. Like new Crackdown, or new Perfect Dark, new whatever Conquer. Who the fuck knows? But they just had they had a Forza. They didn't even have like a Halo or Gears of War. That was it. They had Forza and Cuphead.
Yep, nothing. And we don't know. I mean, they're promising a lot of stuff with Halo this year, but at the most, we might get a Halo 6 announcement, and that's it. So,
I think Halo 6 will come this year, but my worry is that like Halo 5 wasn't particularly well received.
yeah, they did that thing with the story where they like left it on a
Well, that was
cliffhanger.
expected. I meant more like the card based online multiplayer. It's like if you want a Scorpion tank, you have to buy this pack and hope you get a card that has it in it.
And then that was coming off. At least it worked, not like the Master Chief Collection where that was all messed up or whatever. But still, Microsoft's in a hole. I mean, they
Yeah.
need to figure out something. They're nowhere near as bad as EA or anything, but I feel like they would not be doing this if they were in the position that they're in
Oh no,
right now.
not at all. If the story was switched, it'd be, Sony making PS Now like actually worth a damn, and the fact that it's not says volumes about where Sony's at right now.
Yeah, it's the whole reason why, we've talked about it, but Nintendo's not in a rush to bring out the Virtual Console because they don't need to. People are getting excited about freaking
Stardew Valley on the Switch. It's like, all right.
Stardew Valley does work really well on the Switch, as far
Or
as
like Skyrim.
somehow they made that work on the Switch too. But it's like that whole direct that they just had was a bunch of ports,
Yeah.
and people are like freaking out. Like there was people super excited about the fact that Dead Cells is coming to Switch. Which, hey, now you can think about whether you want to get it on Switch or not. Even though I'm sure on the PC it's gonna be a lot cheaper.
I think it's still going to just be $20 game.
Okay, I didn't know if they would, but it's more likely that you'll find a sale on Steam because the Switch's sales sometimes are like they think that taking $2 off a game is a sale. It's like no, it's not.
Yeah.
But I think my point in all that is that, there's also talk about they might bring Fortnite to the Switch, or that Secret of Mana remake might show up on the Switch, which, both of those I think people would really want, but still, just it's crazy that we could talk about an old game coming to Switch like Super Meat Boy, and it does the same sales it was doing when it first launched in 2010, and then here's Microsoft and it can't get people to care one iota about their Xbox, whatever they're coming out with tomorrow.
They should just give them away. That would help.
I guess, yeah. Well, people might actually play them, but even then, they might just go resell them on eBay or something.
It's like if Marcus had just said, "Hey, we know you have an Xbox 360. What if we just sent you an Xbox One S?"
Yeah, just please play this. Advertise it. It'd be great. Please help us. Speaking of Nintendo, they announced Nintendo Labo, and this got so much just either love online or just people absolutely bagging on the fact that it's like, oh, I'm paying $70 for cardboard. No, you're paying $70 or $80 for the game that is inside there, along with the cardboard and all the other things that come on the cardboard.
I'm slightly more negative than you are about this thing. Like, I don't think that cardboard is going to last 10 minutes.
Technically, they're supposed to replace it for free. So.
And also, that robot-looking thing looked complicated as fuck. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know many people who are going to assemble that thing correctly.
That had a lot of like levers and pulleys and a lot going on there. But I would also feel like if you did get to construct it, that's a great sense of accomplishment for your kid. Anaya saw it and she was super excited. So.
Oh yeah.
I think mission accomplished as far as getting the kids into that. I think the parents that are complaining about, I don't want this in my game room, just shut up already. How many things do you do for your kids already? It's just enough. I
thought it looked interesting, but I guess just my trepidation is just like the durability of it. It's like bad, like especially that one walking little insect thing or whatever. It's like,
oh yeah, that could get stepped on or just destroyed, and you got to be careful too because the Switch like screen is not
protected.
You can scratch that up too. So
yeah,
that's not something that you want just laying around the floor for somebody to pick up or throw down, or it gets loose and it comes out of there. You do have to worry about that. I think overall, though, I would trust Nintendo. They know how to do these things. They do them right. This is kind of like another Wii Play or like the Wii Balance Board thing or whatever. It's not anything crazy, but I think it is kind of cool just to be able to introduce your kids to building something. You can color it, you can do all these things. I'm really excited for it for Anaya.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have Anaya, I would probably be more like you. Like, all right, this is cool, but I'm not getting the extreme love or
Yeah.
all that.
Just wait for everyone to like go to FedEx and make their own.
That too. I wonder if Nintendo will do any kind of partnerships and you'll get some kind of licensed thing with that, or if it's just going to be Nintendo coming out with more variety packs with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just hope it does well. I like the fact that Nintendo can be weird again because they're selling so well. Three of their games were on the MPD for December 2017. Mario Kart 8 still selling. Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey on there. Call of Duty World War II still the #1 game, even in December. Battlefront 2 right after it. So the Loot Crate stuff did not make people not buy the game, I guess.
Yeah, but you have to wonder like how much, like what they were expecting versus what they got.
I think we talked about that. They already knew it was at least by half the amount that they were not getting compared to last year. Good to see PUBG on the list there as well, but all the usual suspects: Madden, NBA, 2K, Assassin's Creed, and Grand Theft Auto 5 still on there.
Well, you said the usual suspects, so
yeah. It's amazing how old that game is, and it is still selling hotcakes. Speaking of an old series, God of War finally got the release date April 20th. So on 4/20, you can either play with Labo or you can play with Kratos.
I look forward to Kratos taking on Blunt Man, the god of weed smoking or something. It looks like Kevin Smith.
Are you excited for this God of War? Or?
Actually, I am. Like, the gameplay looks a lot. It really reminds me of Tomb Raider, like the rebooted Tomb Raider, and like that's the Tomb Raider I actually liked. Like, I'm not a big God of War fan. I've tried to like that series in the past, but like Kratos has no character, and I just didn't like the gameplay much. And this one looks to fix both those issues.
Yeah, it certainly seems to go with that same theme with Tomb Raider remastered series of like, okay, this is different. She's grown up a bit and more serious. Kratos is kind of the same way. He's got his kid there. I like the mythology in this too. The Norse mythology is kind of more my thing than the Greek deal, but we'll see how long they stay with it as well, because they've already talked about they have no problem jumping around. But yeah, I'm interested in this just to see how this all changes for him and how it continues after that too. This is going to be kind of cool, and I guess you can have your game now be synonymous with 420 as well, which helps on God of War's front. But the former, or the guy I think that used to be involved, or no, not that's the guy used to be involved with the Twisted Metal, David Jaffe, Drawn to Death, did not do well, and so the studio Supernatural, detective agency, had their latest project canceled, and now they're having layoffs happen.
Jeffy was involved with God of War, the first one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I know.
Yeah. He directed it.
I was not wrong. Happens when you second guess yourself. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I remember seeing Drawn to Death and thinking, okay, this looks cool, right? And then
Then
comes
you heard it,
out,
and then you're like, nope.
yeah, like, all right, this is what it is. I think it's cool that he made something like this, but I just don't think it resonated with people like he expected it to.
It was a lot like that cell damage game,
Hmm.
only worse.
I don't know how you can get much worse than that.
Like,
But,
I just don't think Jaffe's like mentality plays that well anymore. You know, same thing with kind of like Cliff Bleszinski to an extent. Like that's why Lawbreakers was such a hit this like last year. um, like I think like those people are banking more on like game attitude than game mechanics, and it's like that. No, we're past this, or at least we should be.
but apparently not.
Well, like his game got canceled, so apparently we are.
He'll probably find something
I'm
else to.
I'm sure Sony will try to reboot Twisted Metal back again sometime eventually, and
Why?
he'll climb onto that rotting corpse
Like his main character. Just, well, hey, something we thought we're past. But apparently not either with Sony because they're making things that look a lot like amiibos, but they don't have any function in the games. They're from they're called Tataku.
So they're exactly like amiibos. Okay.
Yeah. And they come out on March 23rd. The first line of them is going to be the Bloodborne Hunter, Crash, Kratos, Hihachi. There's going to be a Wipeout ship, Sackboy, Parappa the Rapper. I mean,
Yeah.
they do have some iconic, mascots and stuff.
The iconic Bloodborne Hunter.
Yeah, not the.
Yeah,
Hey,
the iconic Fellstar ship from Wipeout. I was like, all right.
they're reaching when they're putting a whole ship on there.
It's like, why not just make like stupid Funko Pops and just call it a day?
Yeah, if it's not gonna have any functionality with your game, I don't see why not. Just Sony wanting to do their own thing, I guess. Like you wouldn't want to have a Kratos figure.
But these are all from ThinkGeek, so they're all going to be like probably more expensive than you want to pay, and they're only like 3 or 4 inches tall.
Well, if they're more than like $13 or whatever, they're ripping you off.
Yeah.
So, if you're gonna be outpricing the amiibos, then you're putting yourself in a whole different category, and you're gonna get less people buying those.
Yep.
So you're more in tune with this than I am because I don't do a whole lot on Steam. You're the person that's on there more than I am. So this thing that got announced like last week called Rollback Cache that is going to allow you to basically like sell used games, and Steam is going to get a cut, but the developers and publishers are going to get a whole 95% cut, and you get 25% of the proceeds if it's a used game. Whereas, with GameStop, they don't get anything from used games at all. The developers and publishers don't. So, do you think that this might work more since they're getting a cut, or?
I see this thing not doing well at all. Like, I think it's a novel idea, but like, look at how well Microsoft backpedaled away from their online sell used games crap, 4 years ago. I just see no like developer putting their games real developer putting their games on this. Like you're not going to see like a Ubisoft or Activision putting their games on this thing.
I
Like
mean,
it's the same. It's the same thing with like Desura. Like, do you even know what the fuck Desura is? No, exactly.
but do you think that let's say GameStop did give them a cut of used game sales, would we see them not be so against it at that point then? I mean, isn't that the whole issue with this is that they don't get a cut from GameStop, so they're really trying their hardest to make sure you keep the game and don't sell it back to them.
I mean, yeah, but actually, I think somewhat to that's to the benefit of the people. Like, I wouldn't. There's some games I'm keeping around just for the hell of it because like they've kept supporting it over the months or even years.
Right.
And also like even if GameStop did, kick some money back to the publishers and developers, like that eat away at their profit margin, and they're not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's true as well. I don't know. I just think that Steam is such a hoss at this point that I don't know if there's going to be anything that's going to really compete with it. I mean, you can try, obviously. There's ones that are out there like GOG, but...
I mean, GOG's probably the closest because they actually do have some like new games on it. I mean, they do focus a lot more heavily to like older or obscure games, but I think GOG does pretty well for itself.
But so you don't think this could like do the same thing then?
No, because I think it's just too. I mean, GOG's already is 10 years old as it is. Like, it's just too. Steam is too entwined with like the PC marketplace.
Yeah, I think you're going to run into that problem where I think the used game thing will be a novelty for a little bit, but then people will it'll go back to just still using G2A or some other service out there.
Also, like, I guess a question like how are you even going to sell it? Like, let's say for example they did have like a $60 game on there, like let's say just Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I wanted to sell it back. I wanted to sell my copy. Like I got done with it. Could I set my own price? And then what happens when someone undercuts me?
It doesn't
Let's
really
say
say.
Let's say I wanted to sell my copy for $30, so I get whatever $15, whatever I get out of it.
Well, the worst part too is that you're not paid in straight cash. You're paid in their currency with like iron.
Yeah, their Bitcoin knockoff. Sounds like that Crycoin crap from the Crisis developers. It's like, you idiots. Yeah. No wonder you can't pay your fucking employees with real money. You're banking in this shit.
Like, come on, man. Like, that only works if your company's actually been doing well, not that one has issues. But
I mean, this is at least backed by, I want to say Brian Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's his name. Like, the Wasteland 2 developer. Like, at least they are making games, unlike Crytek. But it still doesn't mean I'm gonna think that like their fake coin thing is worth a damn. It's like I don't think Bitcoin's worth a damn either.
No, yeah, Bitcoin keeps going down, so it's only a matter of time before that becomes kind of nothing.
I think I saw today or like last night or something that like there's some $500 million hack for Bitcoin. It's like some Chinese mining firm or something, or like Bitcoin treasury or whatever. And it's like what type of currency doesn't get hacked? Actual hard currency.
Should something there.
It can get forged, to be sure, But when you get a $100 bill from a bank, you be pretty sure it's going to retain its value.
Well, the folks at Square are hoping that you will want to purchase the Royal Edition of Final Fantasy 15, especially if you already have Final Fantasy 15, like Mark and I do. You could pay $20 and get all of the good stuff that's new in this Royal Edition. So you get all the stuff that's already been DLC, everything, all the story episodes, the multiplayer. You'll get, I'm assuming, the 3 episodes that are coming later. But there's also a new addition to the world map, the Insomnia City Ruins, like the last portion of the game, is getting expanded with Cerberus and Omega and some other enemies. There's going to be a boat that you can use to travel around Alticia and Cape Cayam, which that's kind of cool. Instead of using the gondolas and whatnot, you can actually travel on your own boat. You can get more of the royal arms that Noct has. First person mode, of course, that already includes also the character switching as well. They got implemented, so not bad for $50 if you don't have Final Fantasy 15 at all, and then 20 for all the other stuff. I mean, would you consider getting this?
I mean, maybe. I guess it really depends on how well the stuff is integrated, or if it's any good. I'm kind of done with Final Fantasy 15 though. Like, I know you didn't get to even where I was, and I imagine you're done with it too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I beat the game and then I didn't play any of the main game at all again. I played all the story episodes, and that's kind of it. And I did that recently, so I'll just wait till another story episode comes out, and that's probably the only thing I'll do with it, unless you ever say you want to play the comrades thing. Then
You can always try sometime, but I've heard that's not great.
yeah, we could just try just to see how it is, but I'm not like dying to play it either.
Yeah. Also, like, that game's hard to get back into after you've been away from it for a while.
Yeah, tell me about it. It took me a while to get the battle system again.
Yeah.
Especially with Gladio, because he's kind of slow. So I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna die.
Yep.
But it took me like 3 or 4 times to finally beat Gilgamesh, but I did. So I have not. I'll be honest. I don't really do much with movies, other than like the 2 or 3 or 4 that I go to the theater to watch a year, and those are usually the Marvel ones or something to that effect. That has like like a big movie that I want to see. So I have not gone to Redbox either for probably about like 2 years running at this point. Disney is being sued by Redbox because Disney is trying everything they possibly can to make it to where Redbox cannot sell their movies. They have told uh, vendors that they can't sell them movies even if Redbox is offering to buy them at full price. They've tried to get Redbox to do the Netflix thing where you can't have it for 28 days at the release. They've tried to tell Redbox that you need to have a special pricing for our movies because you're too low. Obviously, Redbox is not joking when they say that Disney's sitting here trying to offer high prices. They do this all the time. But I don't know. I just feel like when Disney's the only one complaining, Redbox has got to be in the right here.
Yeah, it's just more like posturing. I mean, Disney's trying to launch their own like Netflix, so of course they're going to try to fight as much as they can.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it from Disney's point of view. I mean, they're like Nintendo in the sense of valuing their stuff higher than other people's. Their things never go on sale unless, like, I'm part of the Disney Movie Club, and for anything that's like worth a darn to go on sale, that's like a miracle. You're basically always paying full price, and then if not, they have that stupid thing with the vault where it's like, if you don't buy it this month, it's going away. It's like, well, okay, go away.
Yeah.
And
Which is
it's
such like a scam, because they only that was like beating the beast for DVD. Like, it's like, oh, it's out of the vault. Like, I think they had like a gold edition for like
yeah.
a few months, and it went back in the vault. And then like a few years later, they're like, oh, here's a diamond edition. It's back out of the vault. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Or you could just keep selling this thing, forever, and not screw over people.
Right, like, just let them, when they have money to go buy your movies, let them buy them instead of just, I'll buy it now. Oh my god. It's like, I know that works for some people, but God, give me a break. Jurassic World is getting a live show, which I'm sort of like chuckling at.
So they're gonna clone dinosaurs.
Right? Like, it's gonna go on tour in fall of 2019. It's gonna have the T-Rex, the Velociraptor. They're gonna measure up to the height that they do in the movie, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think that I would go out of my way to see this, but
I might
yeah.
go just to see like how well the animatronics move. That's about it.
I just think it's like Jurassic World or hasn't even come out yet, and we're having the live show. Okay, hey, whatever works for you.
Maybe it's gonna be such a good movie that they know the live show is gonna do well.
That's true. Is Chris Pratt gonna also be in the live show at some point?
Yeah,
That might
he'll
help.
tour.
Yeah,
He'll go around Indiana for a month and tour around. No biggie.
exactly. I mean, I guess if you pay him all the money, he might. He might, but they probably don't want to do that. John Cena might play Duke Nukem in a Duke Nukem movie.
Nope.
First of all, why are we making a Duke Nukem movie?
Yeah. Second of all, why is Cena be considered for this thing?
Well, Cena does make sense. He has the
No,
build.
he has the build, not the right attitude,
And he
though.
has the stupid, corny jokes. I mean,
Yeah, but I don't, like, you and I were talking about this online. Like, most of Cena's persona is like the family-friendly, support the troops, doing Make-A-Wish Foundation, make a wishes for sick kids, all that stuff. They're not going to have him, blowing up pig cops, slapping alien wall boobs, and having like threesomes.
I don't know.
Like,
I mean, if you've seen him on Total Divas, he is kind of a dick. And, like, that's totally. I mean, he's also a dick on WWE to other people. So, I don't know. I feel like he could do it okay. Just, there might be a better person for this than John
Dolph
Cena.
Ziggler. What? What's Jack Swagger up to these days?
Nothing.
Exactly. Get him in there. Rehire him. This isn't even like WWE making this though, is it? It's just
no. It's
yeah.
I mean, he is in movies. He's in the Daddy's Home 2, and he was in Trainwreck, and all. So he's starting to get movie roles. I mean, Michael Bay is doing it, so.
So it's going to be good.
It's right up his alley, though. Why not? Why not do it? Mighty Ducks is getting a. Go ahead.
Wasn't it rumored forever that The Rock wanted to do like a Johnny Bravo movie?
Yes.
Yeah, look how
'cause
well
he
that turned
loves
out.
doing Elvis stuff. So yeah, that was like one of his first. I think it was. I don't know if it was him or something, but like that was one of the first thing I think he was gonna try to do, and then that got canned
Yeah.
when Cartoon Network's like cartoons started going down the toilet. Uh,
I just don't think it's a good idea.
I don't think the movie is a good idea. Period.
I don't
Uh,
think Duke Nukem's a good idea.
yeah, I mean it's
I mean,
not.
if you want to break that down,
Let's just that thing needs to just die. Let it go.
can they de-age Bruce Campbell enough to be Duke Nukem?
Hey, maybe. Who knows? Mighty Ducks is getting a live action TV series for some reason.
Unless it's based on the cartoon show, I'm not interested.
Look, I like the movies. I have all three of them. They're good. I don't know that I need to see a TV show, but we're running out of ideas, so I guess why
I,
not,
did
Disney?
Did you ever see the cartoon show?
Yes, I did. A couple
That
times.
that thing was such a weird
Yeah.
thing. It's like, why is this called this at all?
Yeah, like they played hockey for like I think like 2 minutes of that entire show each week. So
Uh, and also unless they get like Josh Jackson, back as the main character,
yeah, probably not.
I can have him married to the one girl from the Mighty Ducks, and
Yeah, could they get Emilio Estevez back? That would be.
yeah, they could.
Yeah, I mean
That they could get no problem.
he's not really doing any.
The other two are actually getting work elsewhere, but him,
Yeah, no.
he's waiting at a bus stop somewhere.
That'd be funny if he
like,
was.
it's just the same thing. Like they're trying to make like a Varsity Blues TV show, I think, and
Hmm.
you know, it has some nostalgia value to old people like us nowadays. So that's how they'll try to do it.
It's like, look, I mean, I guess Friday Night Lights worked, but it doesn't mean that you need to keep rehashing that
Yeah,
every time. And like I said, those movies were good, and Varsity Blues was good for its time, but I don't think that you need to have a TV show for it. I
no,
mean, I get that Disney's probably doing it just because, it's one of those things they're going to have on their service or whatever, but
well, it's just a family-friendly hockey show. Getting together a bunch of like misfit kids, and it's like, oh, we can win. What are you doing?
damn it. Sitting there trying to put the charger in my headset, and it does not want to go in for some reason. Thankfully, we're at the end, so I don't think I have to worry about it too much longer. Netflix is going to start a spiritual successor to The Soup with Joe McHale again. I felt like The Soup was starting to really like die off when it, got to the end. Maybe if he's reinvigorated and he's writing his own stuff and all that, and Netflix doesn't have too much of a big say, I think it can be okay. I
Maybe they'll
believe
bring
next
back
month.
Greg. Maybe they'll bring back Greg Kinnear from Talk Soup.
Hey, could.
Like, I'm pretty adverse to any of the types of shows, honestly. But
Like, I always thought he was funny and everything. Like,
I like Joel McHale.
Yeah,
But I just don't like having him. Or it's basically like a clip show of reality TV shows.
right.
And it's like, I don't want to watch reality TV shows in the first place. I
Yeah,
don't want to watch them with you commenting about how stupid the people are. It's like, I know they're stupid.
right.
They're on this show. That's already established. We can move on.
The show is stupid enough. You having this show is even dumber. But hey, some big games are coming out. This week, The City of Final Fantasy NT comes out on Tuesday.
Have fun.
That will not be me. That will be Stephanie, and she is probably having more fun than all of us with that game, and hopefully she continues. Because
I'm sure it'll be an unbiased review.
Yep, I'm sure it won't. Not in the Woods is coming on Switch, and I'm considering it just to be able to take it with me. I would tell you to consider it too.
Actually, the thing I'm looking at right now is Rayman Legends on Switch. It's like $20.
Yeah, that's not a bad one either. Night in the Woods, I'm sure, will be $20. That's what it cost on the other systems. EA Sports UFC 3 also comes out. Do not give two flips about that, but I know someone on the staff who is excited and is already because I think they offered it as far for the EA Access full trial or whatever, so you can play the whole thing.
Is it funny that the THQ UFC games are better?
It is funny.
Okay, just making sure. Even though one of them had Brock Lesnar on the cover, which is dumb.
Was it Undisputed 3 or whatever? Still the best one?
I think so. Might be 2, yeah. But I'm not quite sure. One of those. They're all better than the UFC than the EA ones. Let's just say that.
That's true. But hey, it's EA. Cold Iron is also coming out. It's an indie game puzzler that comes out on Tuesday, and it's a short week. But
yep.
some big games coming out. So yeah, I'm sure that we'll see. Stephanie will have gameplay for Dissidia, and there'll be more things going on. I think Stuart said he's getting ready for EA. UFC, and I will still be mulling over Night in the Woods if maybe getting it or not. But all right, I think that's gonna do it for us here this week. We'll be back on Saturday or Sunday next week talking more games and whatever else has been going on in the gaming and entertainment world. Until then, we'll see you later, everybody.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.